Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo as well as Joe Bear. What's up, Joe Bear? How you doing? How's it hanging up there, buddy? Whew. And as always, I want to thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Oh my goodness. Whew. I need to get a little bit more of this coffee. This is the first thing I've had since that chip challenge. Oh my God. Whew. It was a rough night to say the least. I ended up eating one of those one chip challenge last night, and it's amazing how much damage one chip could do, and I'm paying for it today. But anyway, that's not why you tuned in. Shout out to the Cleveland no longer doo-doo Browns that put a foot in Pittsburgh Steelers behind, getting up 28-0. I mean, literally. Although they did get a scare towards the end, Big Ben and crew did make a run back at it, trying to get back into the game. But in the end, the Cleveland Browns, they're actually a really good team. It's just amazing to think that they were dealing with COVID, that their head coach couldn't even be at the game. They did a virtual reality celebration Zoom call with the coach and the players and everything else to celebrate their first win in the playoffs since 1994. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting side note, and me and Mike will probably talk about this on the road quite a bit because we've got to go down the country and do some work. So we'll have a few hours of, dad and son time, father and son time. Interesting thing about the Cleveland Browns is you look at them finally, after year after year after year of having high draft picks, that they finally have a really good, solid young team. Really good, young, solid team. Part of the reason that they have that is that trade with the Philadelphia Eagles, where the Eagles moved up to get Carson Wentz. They moved up to get Carson Wentz. They traded a king's ransom with the Browns, which gave them multiple picks. And you'll remember, here's where it was not only good for that year, because the Eagles, of course, having a down year. The Eagles had a down year the next year, where they went from worst to first. So they ended up having high draft picks because of the Eagles, which they used at filling out a lot of that roster. So as you look at this young Cleveland Brown team, they're young. They're full of talent. They're not over the cap. You look at the Eagles, who are wondering about Carson Wentz and had to use a lot of free agent older talent. They're way over the cap. Just a cautionary thing about moving up for a lot of you. And there's several cases that we have there when you look at teams that are in the playoffs now that are in good shape versus the ones that ended up using all that draft capital trying to move up. But anyway, the Dallas Cowboys, they're pretty sneaky. The Cowboys are sneaky. Let's be real here. Jerry Jones and crew are being a little secretive. First we heard about Joe Witt, who was going to be interviewing on Sunday, virtual reality. We heard that on Friday. Hey, the Cowboys are going to be, interviewing this guy. So okay, cool. So then we come and find out that the Cowboys interviewed Jason Simmons, quality control. I think quality control, or was he quality control or passing game? I think passing game coordinator for the Carolina Panthers. We heard about that. Now we come to find out that this is retroactive, that Saturday, the Cowboys interviewed Dan Quinn. So some of the people that we had heard about that they would be talking about, Dan Quinn is one of those that we figured that he would be a potential candidate. They definitely spoke with on Saturday. So when you look at Dan Quinn, most recently being with the Atlanta Falcons, taking the Atlanta Falcons to the Super Bowl and having the biggest meltdown in Super Bowl history. Now, forget about that portion of it, okay? We understand that there's something in the water in Atlanta that just makes them give up big leads, okay? It's just, we saw that. We shouldn't have had that win, but, again, Atlanta does what Atlanta does. But beyond just that, Dan Quinn, you know, there's some guys that are incredible coordinators that aren't necessarily great head coaches. I look at Norv Turner, who is a genius when it comes to being an offensive coordinator. But as a head coach, not that great. Not that great. And it may be that Dan Quinn is that kind of guy that, he wasn't quite ready for prime time. You've seen tons of Bill Belichick's disciples go out the NFL because they look and say, oh, well, the Patriots, let's just get one of those pieces. They coached underneath the Bill Belichick, greatest coach in football history, and figuring that guy would know what he's doing, but yet they end up failing. And so Dan Quinn, when you go through his pedigree, and let's go down here. He was a defensive line coach. He started out at William & Mary in Virginia, then coached at VMI, defensive line, Hofstra for defensive line coach, and then started with the San Francisco 49ers, okay? 49ers, quality control coach. I'm still trying to understand the quality control part. I understand when you got a manufacturing business, you got the quality control where you check out a piece here and make sure that the quality is there consistently. But it seems like this is the new in vogue thing. I'd never heard of quality control before this year, but be that as it may. For 2 years, he was quality control for the San Francisco 49ers. Then he was defensive line coach for the 49ers, defensive line coach for the Miami Dolphins, and then went to the New York Jets, defensive line coach, and then assistant head coach for the Seattle Seahawks in 2009 and 2010. Okay. Then, here's where it gets interesting. He became the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks in 2013 and 2014, their Super Bowl years, working, of course, with the Legion of Boom and winning one Super Bowl and losing the second one. And I'll say losing that second one wasn't on the defense. I would dare say that, of course, was on Pete Carroll passing instead of having beast mode run into the end zone. And then, of course, he took over the Atlanta Falcons in 2015, getting them to the Super Bowl that they should have won, and then proceeding to kind of go downhill because the team was getting old. So that's what we know about Dan Quinn. Now, it could be that Jason Simmons, that maybe they're thinking about him being defensive back coach or bringing him in some role and so forth. To me, unless you're a head coach that lost your job, you don't want to go ahead and go backwards. And you don't want to do a lateral move. So if you're, Dan Quinn is trying to get back into the head coaching, so him taking a defensive coordinator role is ideal. If you are a defensive coordinator on one team, you don't want to do a lateral move to another team. You want to do a promotion where you become a head coach. So that would be the difference of the two. So Jason Simmons is either going to come as the Cowboys defensive coordinator. I doubt that he's just going to make a lateral move. But then again, I don't know. It might be. I'd rather be at the Cowboys, and if I'm part of that turnaround for that defense, then that can really give me a lot more pep to continue my career. I'm sure that the Cowboys will be checking on others. Of course, another person who would be familiar with Dan Quinn used to be here in Chris Richard. The funny thing about us Cowboy fans is we seem to hate people when they're here and say we need to replace them and fire them, get rid of them, and everything else until they're gone, and then we want them back. A lot of people have Chris Richard on their list of possible defensive coordinators. I know Chris Richard was interviewing for the Raiders defensive coordinator position. Another person people would like to be brought in who is familiar with Mike McCarthy is Marvin Lewis. Marvin Lewis had been or was scheduled to interview for the Lions head coaching job. So we'll see where any of these go. I'm hoping that the Cowboys do interview quite a few candidates to try and make sure they make the best decision possible, because we need to get somebody in here who really knows what they're doing. Now, one other side note to this is last year it seems that Mike McCarthy had full autonomy on who he was bringing in and hiring for coaches. We do know that Jerry Jones was sitting in on the interview with Justin Simmons. We don't know if he was sitting in on the interview with Dan Quinn as well, but I would imagine that Jerry Jones, who micromanages everything, wants to have his stamp on whoever they bring in and feels comfortable with them. And so that's what we got right now, guys. The search continues. We'll definitely be talking about this tonight on our live stream at 9 o'clock Eastern. I hope you guys join us. Make sure you hit the like button, the subscribe button, and leave me a comment below who you'd like to see for defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. Definitely, they definitely need to get a win on this one. They definitely need to get a win, and hopefully they get it right this time, and we can get moving forward. All right, y'all. Hope you have a great day, and you may notice a few changes to the set. They're kind of they're very small, subtle changes, but trying to make it more advantageous for me to be able to do what I do here, kind of clear off the desk. My wife, rightfully so, says that it's too cluttered because I usually have so much stuff in here that I don't have a place to set my coffee. I'm setting my coffee on my notebook and stuff. But since we've kind of gone to using just one computer up in here, it's given me more space to kind of spread this out, and I'm kind of whittling down some of the artifacts that are up here. So let me know if you like what we're doing, some different things you'd like to see done on here and so forth, and we'll see what we can do. Have a great day, and I will see you guys soon.